All right, the February 24th, 2021 regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen will come to order. I'd like to welcome everyone joining us over the phone or via Facebook Live. Just as a reminder, if you are on Facebook Live, we are not able to monitor comments. So if you want to make a comment, please join via the phone line. And as also a last reminder, if you are on the phone, please do mute yourself until called upon. And now if we could all join and do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we're very excited to have a guest with us, Belinda DeKay from the library. If you want to come over, Belinda. We are very honored that you would join us today, and we have a commendation for you. So this says, be it hereby known to all that the Board of Selectmen offers their sincerest appreciation to Belinda DeKay in recognition of her nearly 4 decades of dedicated service as the Executive Director of the Stonington Free Library. In her long-standing role, she kept the library's mission to enrich lives and build community by bringing information, ideas, and people together through many initiatives, including establishing library branches at Pawtucket Neighborhood Center and Stonington Human Services, supporting book groups at assisted living facilities, creating 4 new little free libraries, growing the digital library, and most recently, the completion of a $1.8 million capital campaign to meet the needs of all with an expansion and renovation project, making the library ADA compliant. As you embark on this new chapter as the library's Director Emeritus, we thank you for your many years of service to the town of Stonington. Thank you. Thank you so much.
If I thought I'd done any of that.
Do you want to take a picture? Let's take a picture together. Thank you, very good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. I will come down to the library with you.
I'm really stunned. I accept it on behalf of everyone.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you soon in person.
Yes. Thank you so much. Now you can get on with your work.
This is the more exciting part. Thank you, Linda, so much. Thank you. We're so lucky to have people like that in the community. Okay, now on to the approval of the minutes. Could I get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of February 10th, 2021?
So moved.
Second?
A second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
No.
Thank you, Stacy. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. So we have no correspondence. And under old business, the only thing I wanted to share under COVID-19 is another reminder that we do keep all the information as up to date as we possibly can on the town website, so please do check there. We have one dedicated page specifically on vaccines that we update, I'd say, at least a few times a week. And then we also have a weekly update we do that does a more comprehensive overview of COVID-related information, sites, and resources, ranging from physical to mental health. So please do check that and also help us share it so people are aware. I think as most people know now, March 1st, the governor has issued the order that 55 to 64 to now join the vaccine pool. So, and we were just on a call earlier at the governor's office, and it was very promising with the increase of federal shipments that should be coming in for the vaccines. They really think that they'll be able to hit the timeline that they've shared most recently, with the general public likely able to receive vaccines in May. So that's really great. The 55 to 64 March 1st, as well as the educators, which is teachers and childcare, will have their own separate way of registering and getting vaccinations, which will be really, really important for our community. So that's really, hopefully, really positive news on the vaccine front. We'll keep it there to keep it positive. The next item is the resolution for the Equality Act bill, the support for that we discussed at the last meeting. And just as a reminder for those checking in, this resolution supports the Equality Act bill, which, if passed by the United States Congress, would amend the Civil Rights Act to prohibit discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and gender identity in the areas of employment, housing, public accommodations, public education, federal funding credit, and the jury system. I'd like to get a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Your second?
I second.
Okay, motion and second. Any discussion?
No, I don't have anything to say. Read it over?
Thank you. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Very good. Stonington will join the ranks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And thank you to the person who brought that to our attention. New business, I believe we have Chief Stewart on to give us an overview of an MOU regarding the Southeastern Connecticut Regional Traffic Unit Mutual Police Assistance Compact. Chief Stewart, are you on the line?
I am on the line. How is everybody this afternoon? It's still this afternoon. So, and actually the sun is still out, so this is a good sign. So hopefully spring is not too far away.
Yeah, we said that before.
We're pretending it's springtime.
Can't come soon enough. This is actually an update of an existing MOU that we have. That MOU was with Groton Town Police Department and Ledyard Police Department. So we did an update on it. Our town attorney, Brian Estep, made a number of changes or updates to it to sort of come in line, and also added the city of Groton that wanted to be part of this. This is really our very successful traffic accident reconstruction team as well. So we work together as a region, these 4 departments, to go out to the more serious accidents and assist everybody in the investigation of these unfortunate incidents. So I would recommend that the Board of Selectmen approve it. And like I said, our town attorney has reviewed it, and actually he made changes that the other towns agreed with as well.
Thank you so much, Chief Stewart. So after the motion, then we could ask any questions. Do I hear a motion to approve the Southeastern Connecticut Regional Traffic Unit Mutual Police Assistance Compact?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
A motion, a second. Any discussion or questions for Chief Stewart?
I just had a couple. So I did notice that there were the comments by the attorney, but those have already been approved by the other towns?
I believe a couple of them have put it forward to their legislative body, whether it be the town manager or mayors. And I think that 1 or 2 may have already been signed. So we're just falling in line with what's going forward. So this is the document that was going to everybody, so.
Yeah, I just wasn't certain about the timeline. If we approve it, are we going to see it again if it changes? But
No, I don't know. I had sent it out to all the chiefs, and they had basically said back that they were good to go, and I said, all right, I was moving it forward, and they were as well. So
okay.
try not to waste your time with another version.
No, that's fine. Thank you. No, it sounds very important. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Chief Stewart. You're welcome to stay with us, but we won't be offended if you leave.
I am headed home. Thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah. So this is a very brief meeting. If there's anyone who'd like to make any comments from the public, and you can press *3, and then just as a reminder, you'll want to pause, wait for the prompt, and then press *6. I'll give people a minute. *3, and then *6. Okay? Okay. As a reminder, you can always call us at Town Hall, and we're happy to talk or make an appointment. So this is an early chance. Okay, the last item, comments on the Selectmen. Deb?
Yeah, a few things. I virtually attended the beautification committee this week. And it's exciting because they were talking, they have heard from a bunch of new potential volunteers, including students and businesses. So they're excited to start the season. They talked about their draft budget request to the town. They're hoping to get the same $5,000 as last year, which they do use for tree replacements and for the plantings on the bridges and in the parks. And they do so much work for the town that, I was happy to listen and support them on that. I did attend a webinar on stormwater utilities, which I know the town engineer also attended, and it's really interesting food for thought. I look forward to talking further about that. I think it would really tie in, especially with some of our infrastructure and forward planning, if we can look at the stormwater utilities. you know, not just as a way to capture some of the funds, but as a way to help with the planning, some of the developments and getting into some of the green infrastructure ideas. The Mystic River Boathouse Park and Stillman grant applications are moving along. I see that the pre-application for Stillman has been approved, which is great, which means we can submit that assessment grant.
Oh, that's great.
Grant
You
application.
knew on that, like, do people sometimes get denied at the pre-application phase, or?
You know, I've never seen one denied, but they certainly can deny.
Okay.
I mean, they're looking for certain things and that fit into their rubric. Just because you're accepted at the pre-application doesn't mean obviously that you're gonna get the grant, but at least they look at it and see, okay, this is a potential project. In Mystic River, we have, you know, circulated it to the committee, have some comments, and we're trying to pull it all together over the next couple of weeks so that one can be submitted.
What's the deadline for that one?
It's April.
Okay.
I believe it's the 7th of April. I have two different deadlines in my head, something through the 29th, something through the 7th, but it's in early April. And the goal is to submit it in March. We're not gonna wait till April.
Okay.
We're just gonna get it done. We're almost there. We have a couple additional pieces of information we're collecting, and, a couple had sent some comments that also reflect some of that information. And looking about the memorandum of understanding between the Friends of Crew, you know, to try to tie that into it as well. So then, one exciting, following also on Board of Ed, one thing that I've been talking to Peter Anderson about and following is their proposal to try to take advantage of an Eversource program that includes a zero interest loan and an incentive towards upgrading lighting at the schools, and it can also be extended to the town. So I know that Peter has met with Barbara and Chris, and they're looking at different areas like softball fields and possibly the tennis courts. That's something else that could be looked at even for Mystic River Park or some, you know, one of the parks. So that's coming up, and I know we'll be actually discussing that later this spring. And finally, wetlands. Wetlands has been supporting efforts by Rich Ward of the Recreation Commission to try to create some trails that tie some of the town properties together.
Oh, that'd be great.
Spellman Park with, it's called Moss Park, which is by the old Pocata Middle School, and maybe he hopes eventually to Barn Island, based on his notes. And
It is possible.
It's possible.
Contiguous, yeah.
Supposedly, I know, it's, you know, he's
Yeah.
working on that, but he's excited about it, and it's such a fascinating thing, and he's reached out to, Mr. Massendale at the high school, who teaches a class in preservation and conservation, and his students apparently are very hands-on and have already gone out and done some cleanup work in Spellman Park. So he's talking to them about kind of working together on these trails and maintaining trails, and maybe even doing some cartography work to get the trails actually documented. And wetlands is supporting them, because there are wetlands back there, but the commission is very interested in, you know, this is an activity that isn't really regulated because it's recreational, but they want to make sure that they, you know, they can do the best to preserve the wetlands and kind of go around it where possible. But that's an exciting thing.
That's so exciting. I feel like it's been, I think, 3 years we've been talking about this Greenway connection, how we could look at different trails, and there are connections, or, you know, how we can make it better. So this would be amazing. So we'll definitely see how we can support that more. And just a quick update, so we did meet with the provider that Peter had introduced us to, and he was lovely, and he met with us at Donahue Park and the school fields, and in the end, it was determined that really most likely only the softball field is viable for this project, because they really do just the LED lighting, whereas the tennis courts, they need actually new light fixtures. So when it comes to doing them, we could still reach out to them about the lights, like the lights itself, but since they need fully new fixtures, it wouldn't make sense to do it now. And Donahue Park, as far as they have reported back, I believe they were all already LED. And again, we need more lighting there, but that's a different project. So, but we're about to be checked just in case. And then the softball field should be a great addition for the players.
There's such an incredible cost savings in there when you look at, you know, I printed it out if you haven't seen it, the memo that talks about the cost savings and the cost savings going forward. So it's really an exciting opportunity for an energy and cost savings.
Yeah.
So, right, that good wood.
And he's been working on that for a while.
Yes,
so,
he has, and
Yes, and thanks to the brilliant work of, Stacy Hospital and our town clerk, we've come up with a very creative approach to having a kind of a hybrid town meeting. So we're glad that you guys are up for a challenge, and, we'll be putting out all that information, very soon, but it'll be a virtual option for people, so there'll be virtual tune-in, comments, hearing everything, and then the vote will be a drive-through, most likely at town hall. So we're just finalizing all the details, with the attorney to make sure everything's legal and following everything, but a way to have people engaged and participate and still have a vote, and, keep people safe, since this had to happen by March, I think, I can't. So it was a tight deadline, but we'll make it happen, so it's good. June, updates from you?
Yeah, so I have, two updates. The Climate Change Task Force, which I think I reported now meets monthly, went through the, coastal resiliency plan. And so, Rick, the chair, did a spreadsheet of over 100 different projects, but rated them as, the different projects as intent, like hard to easy, and then asked, so he distributed that to all of the Climate Change Task Force members and asked them by next meeting to pick their top 5.
That's cool.
Right, so it's what, because this group really does a tremendous amount of research and reading, and so they understand the impact of our vulnerability. So, I trust them to pick the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have then the top 5 projects that we can work on, then we can, determine the economic feasibility of that. But we asked them to help us, and they're coming through with it.
So wonderful.
So that's really good. We're still working on the declaration. There's still some work, some changes that can go in there, but, so as far as Climate Change Task Force, that's going on. So, planning and zoning. At the last meeting, Keith itemized, he distributed it actually 2 meetings prior, an itemization of all of the shortfalls of our current regulations. And I'm going to say it's a shortfall because there's different parts of the regulations that have been so modified and amended and modified and amended over and over and over again that I think it would be a great idea to distribute it to every Board of Finance member so that they can see. All right, so, because I know it came up last night at the presentation,
We'll quiz them. If they can't answer, they have to give the money.
and then, Chair Rathburn's letter to the Board of Finance in support of rewriting our zoning regulations. I was on planning and zoning 20 years ago, and I had no idea really that our zoning regulations have not been completely rewritten in decades. We're really overdue.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, so Keith itemized this. It was very impressive, and he also itemized it as so this is going to be this one change is going to take a lot of time and a lot of community input. Like he itemized all these things, so it's really clear that it's beyond the time capacity of staff to do it, that we really need to hire out to do it. So I'm in full support of changing our zoning regulations. But then this is a perfect time to implement, to add in wetlands, to add in the plan of conservation and development.
Climate resiliency.
And the climate resiliency, so it's really good timing for all of these things to come together.
Perfect.
So anyways, my recommendation is that the Board of Finance should see all of that, so.
They're listening.
You hear me? So, and that's really it, so, yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Maybe just to pick up on the things that you brought up, we actually met this morning with a number of different staff members about, the climate change task force, emergency declaration, their recommendations, as well as, the Borough Warden Jeff Callahan was kind enough to join. And we had I think a really productive, really great conversation. They definitely thanked the Climate Change Task Force for their great research. They want to use that as a starting off point. I think they just want to put forward some suggestions and changes and modifications over the next probably 3 weeks they've asked for, which I thought was actually pretty ambitious given everything they have going on.
Well, it's budget hearing time,
yeah,
so everyone's, and with the budget hearings, there's all these questions about line 52 and why,
Yeah.
you know, can you give us the documentation, which is valid, but everybody's working hard on the
It takes
budget.
them, yes, days to pull some of these questions together. So no, they were really supportive. I think, even the idea was tossed around that in some ways maybe we should start doing almost an annual report on some of this. Start basic, grow into it. Obviously the work Sue Cullen has been doing with Sustainable CT, has been fantastic. So I'm gonna help pull some of that stuff to give them some more examples. But we are doing a lot that I think we don't actively communicate.
Yeah.
And then there's also things that we are currently working on that we want to better communicate, and then set goals around some of these targets as well that we're already working towards or that we know are more feasible. So we're set up to hopefully achieve them and not over-promise and under-deliver, as somebody put today. So I think there's a lot of buy-in, a lot of agreement from staff that not only can we do it, we should do it, and there's a lot that we can do, but it just we need to make some tweaks, I think, to some of the suggestions, and that's why it was so great to talk to the staff, because they know it, they are in it every day, they have insights to their department that, even I can't have, never mind, volunteers who are giving their time, but, aren't here every day, so, I think their input is gonna be really, really helpful, and actually Jeff Callahan and I are gonna meet on Monday to talk about how we could potentially bring this concept to the COG and see if we might be able to do something on a regional level for climate. So that was his suggestion, which was really excellent. So they spurred a lot of they've been patient, because, there's just a lot going on, but, they've been really patient and helpful, and that list will be so great to have also the projects. And then my only other update was about the budget. So the budget process has started. We have a little note on the website if people want to read it, and just kind of get some insights. And we know the meetings can be long and a little bit tedious sometimes to probably sit through at home, but I would say, try and tune in, even try and just get a feel for it. At a minimum, look through the budget book that's out there, look at past budget books even, but just get a sense, because then when it comes time for the public hearing, we really do want people to engage and to share their feedback and their thoughts. I think it's really hard to do it if you're only coming at it from one perspective. If you're only looking at it as, I could speak for like a parent, like I am, and I'm maybe potentially just looking at the school, but it's hard to do that if you're not looking at the full picture, if you're not looking at engineering and the roads and, what's going on within town hall and, how we can grow our grand list or create more efficiencies or be sure our roofs aren't leaking. So I think it's really helpful if people can, engage in that process and give us your feedback and listen. It'll be really helpful. So that was good. And then just to say, stormwater I used it for climate example, hopefully we get some funding for potential grants, but it was interesting looking at grants other towns in Connecticut have gotten. A lot of them are around stormwater management, and whether it's bringing on someone with in-house expertise or actually trying to do, bioswales or a rain garden, or other projects. I mean, someone actually even moved some of their stormwater under a train station, I think in Darien, through a grant. But it was amazing to see, and I think as a coastal town, all the runoff and the fertilizer and that going into the waterways and our shellfish, and it touches on so many things. So I'm excited to hear more hopefully about the utility, and maybe we can get the stormwater task force back up and
No, that would be great.
running.
That would be good. And it's good timing now. There's so many other things, and it ties in to so many other issues in town.
Stormwater.
Yeah.
I wanna add, as far as the budget goes, I think one of the benefits of having all of the meetings recorded, and anybody at any time can go back and read the meetings, and, watch the meetings.
Yeah,
And I do, it's funny, I'll come home and my husband will have, like, a meeting on the television. So because he's watching them, and so I think it's really beneficial, and it's just so that the more you know, if you need to be an educated taxpayer, like to know where your tax dollars are going and why there's different asks, and the fact that the budget's now available, and these are things that were not available in past years, so
Yeah.
it's a benefit. So I think it's a benefit, so.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right, good. And maybe at a future meeting, we can add like a stormwater conversation. You can talk with Chris.
I'll talk to Chris and maybe just.
I think, it'll be exciting. So I think, I'll keep in the spirit of keeping the meeting short, so I'll leave other updates for next, 2 weeks from now. Oh, the one other thing, guys, I was say was, so kindness week has come to an end, so the meeting should stop being kind. So we did draw a winner, people have sent in nominations, and winner was Shannon DePerry, and she's gonna come get her Stonington pop-up book that's from the chamber this week, I think. But we're also gonna try and do a video with her because she has started this Operation Fresh Start, which is just amazing. We were just reading more about it today, and she just, it's amazing. So we'll do a video with her and try and share some of the great work she's doing. But just to say, we got so many nice stories shared, if we said, ranging from people dropping off anonymous gift cards to grocery store workers who've been working through the pandemic, or to the police department, or Stonington Feeds Stonington committed, and they did 100 acts of kindness, random acts of kindness. So they went to smaller places like some of the newer kind of juice bars, coffee shops, other places like that they haven't been able to support yet in the past, and they got smaller gift card amounts, and they would just randomly leave them on people's doors. They drove around town, they had volunteers just randomly distributing them, and it was really sweet to see. And then the Pawtucket Neighborhood Center delivered Stonington pop-up books to seniors. So it was nice. I think it took off in lots of different ways. So hopefully next year, the town will rally around it, but keep being kind all year. Just because Kindness Week is over, doesn't mean you should stop. Is that it? Anything else? Yes, all right. Is there anything else?
No, that's all I have.
We are still adjourned, 4-6.